Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm your Riz.
And, you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. You know where we can find that?
Yes.
In the Wrestling Mayhem.
That's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm your Riz.
And, you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. You know where we can find that?
Yes.
In the Wrestling Mayhem.
That's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm your Riz.
And, you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the AwesomeCast, time to get geeky, get awesome. We are coming from Grass Lake, Michigan, live in an Airbnb. And Missy is producing in Pittsburgh, and there's a bar up here. Can you hit X on that guy right there for me? For the host. No, Missy is in studio. Helping us, so we have all these fancy graphics and it's streaming and looking as best as it possibly can be, better than if we were here doing the whole Riverside gimmick and everything. Hey, hi, Missy. I haven't seen you for basically a week.
Yeah, and you won't be seeing me for another week at this point.
No, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Not until Sunday.
It's fun. Yay. But you are there with someone really awesome, though. You're
somebody playing with paper, apparently. There's some
I am
happening over there.
I am. I wanted to show Missy something.
Oh, there you go. Katie's with me across the Airbnb from me.
I am literally across. My closet is here. My door does not stay open. I don't know if you've noticed, but the toilet paper roll is one of the scented middles. And it's so potpourri when I went to blow my nose that my nose is now really runny.
Oh, I did not discover that. We literally we walked in here about less than an hour before we were broadcast. We had no idea what we were going to get into. We just landed in Detroit from Oregon, Portland, where we were out there for Baja SAE through Sunday. Spent some time yesterday. We're going to talk about, probably a little bit. We visited the beach and a really cool landmark in Mount Hood. We got to go see a little closer up than in the distance and by plane and stuff like that. So, but yeah, and we're here. We're getting ready for Formula SAE here this week, and we're going to go down the track and do like we do every year. And very excited to see what's going on there, and just happy to be done with most of the dust. It's very dusty. So, yeah, first thing I want to talk about is again, we did Baja SAE Oregon. Katie, this is your second time going out to Portland area, and of course, it's an Washougal MX, which I loved when we did Know Before You Go for SAE this year. It was, he identified, hey, this is the place. This is the place that they do big races. I went and looked up afterwards. They do NBC Sports comes out for the motocross. It was featured on Motocross Madness, which was a game from the PlayStation 1. So I don't think talking to college students was maybe the right audience for this necessarily, but it's really cool to see that. I think it's my third time out there for that location. And I guess the second one for you, right, Katie?
Yes, that is me. 2 times. I liked it.
Yes.
I like Oregon.
I mean, the nice thing is we basically like drive up into the mountains along this like creek. It's like that's just looks great, and we just see another mountain across from us, basically facing us. So, and I know we had a lot of great conversations with the sponsors for some of the work we're doing for SAE this year, a really big focus on that. So we got to spend a little more time with them. And Katie, anything that stuck out from you this year?
Regarding the sponsors or the event as a whole?
Sponsors or the event as a whole?
I think event as a whole, I think it was a lot of fun this year. And I feel like these students have really kind of settled in a nice groove, which makes this really a lot of fun for everybody involved. Because I know there's been previous events where, at least where I've been, where everybody's been super nervous, but this was a very chill environment. Everyone was enjoying the scenery. Everybody was helping each other out. There was a slushy machine at one point. Did you catch that?
I did not. I know the school had it.
Mm-hmm. In their trailer.
I know Rivian was doing mocktails at their tent. I did not get enough footage of what was going on over there, unfortunately, since we're so concentrated on our list of people we had to get to. But no, they were doing ring tosses and stuff out there. I know that with Rivian. But it was really cool vibes. I think we were walking through the paddocks, and I think I just like ran into 3 different football tossing games. And they all found me, basically, right? So, and even I gotta love the logo for this year. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's a little Sasquatch in a Baja car. So, Missy, we got you one too.
So you're going to be set there. No, it's great to talk to. Like we talked to you even more about. I know Oshkosh is always really great. There's a different batch of guys I think that we usually deal with there that were great to talk to. We talked to some of the rocket companies were there too, Relativity and Stoke. I've talked to some of the guys from Relativity on the podcast before, and I'm trying to think about what sticks out now. I know, like in the moment, like you don't remember. Oshkosh was the biggest one for me this year because I talked about it a little bit on the show before. And it's the one that had the on-demand parts you could do, like sheet metal, tube bending kind of thing like that. Something if you're making something that's like a frame, like what a Baja car would be, right? You need a custom part. It's that on-demand processing that we got. That we've been talking about for years on here. And the really cool story out of this, and we at least got a little bit of the story that hopefully will run on our social media here in the future. They were, Katie, what was that? Was it the second day? So it would have been the day before Dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
The school, I think it was California State Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken, or Sacramento State. I'm kind of confused on which. It was labeled two different ways, depending on where you looked at it. So, but they basically needed a part that they weren't going to be able to make in time to pass tech inspection to even get out on the track. So we talked to the guy from Oshkosh, and we'd already interviewed these guys. They're making the trophies for the year, and they give like a 50% discount to any of the students. He was having it shipped the next day to his hotel, and these guys I think are in Utah, if I'm not mistaken, and looking to expand so they have better access on the East Coast as well, from what we were talking about. And it's like you make the part, they're probably going to make it the same day. And they say you can, their thing is you can get it in 0 to 3 days, which is crazy. And so it was going to his hotel room and he was going to have it there for them. So these guys at least had a chance to get this thing fixed and get on the track for maybe a little bit of dynamics, if not the endurance stuff. I don't know how it went. I don't think they got too far with it, but but still, like that was an option is very, very cool on that scale and something like that.
So was
I knew one of the sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask Sorg, is that your awesome thing of the week that you're talking about?
We're just kind of
Oh, you're just introing. Okay, sorry, because I was like, did I miss a cue?
All of this is awesome thing. It's going to be kind of a recap show this week. We do have, of course, Chachi and Podner have their segments for this week. We're going to drop in here. They keep things fresh and everything. But anyways, Katie, you were going to say?
Oh, I think one of the things that you liked most about this was the ability for folks to be able to manipulate the shapes in the pieces before it went off to essentially print.
Yeah. Basically, I think I've talked about this briefly on the show before, but if you go to that oshkosh.com and if you know what you're doing, like there's kind of like a mini CAD program in there. Like you can take a pipe and bend it, and it'll tell you, can we actually physically make this, right? And before you send it off, you're not getting a dud. Kind of think about like you send something off to Staples and they say, hey, this actually is going to look like crap. We try to do it with this format and stuff like this. Like the website's going to take care of it for you, and does that work for you, so you're not wasting money on a part like this, especially if you need that one part, that is going to solve your problem, or in your build and your prototyping or something like that, right? So it's really cool. And we were talking about somebody else this week that's into that kind of thing and was really like, yeah, that's really kind of the game changing kind of thing. And there's so many things that like 3D printers are just like, becoming a service and becoming accessible in this crazy way right now.
And Missy, you would know, of course, that any place we go, we end up finding folks somehow connected to Pittsburgh. And Oshkosh was an example of this. And I didn't get a chance to put this in the doc, but it was either the brother or the brother-in-law that has a company in Pittsburgh. It's Near Earth Autonomy. I'm going to hold up my phone like I sent you this doc. But it is essentially yeah, ta-da! Like I sent you this to you already.
Yeah. Hold that up. That actually looks really great on camera.
Does it? Oh, here you go. Watch my video on my phone. Ooh, these are unmanned drones, essentially, that then they're working with these government contracts, and they are developing these in Pittsburgh. It is a local company.
Really cool thing we didn't know was here, right? So
Mhm.
it makes me wonder if we walk past your booth. I think I said that when we were talking about it. I was like, I wonder if we walked past your booth when we did the AI and Discovery Day down at the convention center, the three of us.
Yeah.
So, which we do that again. We got to do some AwesomeCast walkarounds and interviews with that for sure, because there's just so much cool stuff there, and I love to have those conversations with those people. So, but very cool. Oshkosh, Oshkosh stepped up and they were part of the endurance and everything. We had the rock crawl, which was one of our favorite events. So, which is there's just a pit of rocks that these Baja cars have to climb over. And I just started calling it the rock crawl party, because there's just these rocks in the center. And there's just, there's some videos that were on my stories the last couple of days. We'll post some stuff on Instagram here when we get a chance here this week. But and everybody's just gathered around this off in the woods. And I remember last time we were there, they were playing music and everything. So, but it's the wildest thing to watch, and hearing everybody cheering for people, because it's like, usually do suspension and traction, but this is like its own thing at this point, right? Like the legendary rock crawl of the SAE Oregon Baja event, right? So, but it was really good, really dusty, I think that was like the coldest I've been out there in Portland, Washington area for stuff like this. So, but yeah, it really kind of it was a good start for the Baja season for the most part, right?
I think so. I think it was good. I think I was glad we got some mud, because that is like my only requirement of Baja beyond actual the whole competition itself. But the mud pits are my go-to, and we did get some rain, and then we had some mud pits built, and we spent a decent amount of time of just watching the vehicles just nosedive into the mud, splashing mud everywhere in slow motion. Had way too much fun over there.
On the GoPro. Oh wait, I might have my GoPro here. Oh yeah, I do have them here right next to me actually. I want to show you. You guys, give you an example. This has been in here and caked for a couple of days. I have GoPro Hero 8s, and I have about 3 of them. And usually I have one that's kind of like the track one. Like, they don't care. This has been, and some of it has come off of it, but you can kind of get the idea how muddy these guys get. So it's still pretty caked on there. And that's been like, I kind of wiped it off a little bit. So you kind of get the idea. And there's a clean one for scale, for comparison point there. You see what we're kind of getting into. So, but yeah, I love it. I just throw this, on I got a little Joby tripod thing. I just stick in the dirt or a hay bale or something as close to the cars as possible. We tried playing with it, and we put in some places in the rock crawl I think are going to come off pretty cool. So that's going to be part of the highlight reel that'll hopefully come out here before the end of the month. So
I think one of my favorite parts. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think one of my favorite parts about you having the GoPros there, and the students the volunteers who are in their area are the first folks to say, oh, you know what's cool? This thing happens here. And they help kind of lead us and inform us of where we set up. It might be where I'm taking a lot of photos or you're shooting videos, but you'll pull your GoPro out and they'll be like, it would be cool here. And you go to put it there and it's like, and they're always like, it's going to get destroyed. And you're like, eh. And it's like to see their reaction every time of them just being like, oh, and then just the big smiles and like, and I think that's one of my favorite parts.
I'm like, I hope so long. See, there's actually, it's kind of funny because there's a crack in the back of this thing, and that's not from a car hitting it. This thing's been struck several times, by the way. This is from Scotty Swubba stepping on it in Carolina last fall. How many seasons have I had these things? And that's the first like major damage I've had on any of them. So, and they've been run over, they've been struck, they've been thrown up against rocks and everything like that with Baja cars, and they're still good to go. Still using the same batteries, all that stuff, and they look great. So we're just figuring out more places to put them. So, Katie, you brought a team to me to talk to.
I I did. Oh
And
gosh, which team was the? It was 110. How can I remember their number and not their names?
110
That's just,
CAM. They were from Baja, Mexico. The original. I'll see if I can pull up the team list here and terribly try to pronounce their name. But they were delightful. But tell them a little bit about that.
we put a call out that said the media team was walking around. If you've got a story, go find them. And I am always the first folks. They find me. And they were like, we want to talk to you. Will you come talk to our team? And I was like, of course. I grabbed Sorg. We head out down. And we had about 4 or 5 members of their team as part of this.
Five, then one ran away.
Yeah, I did.
Something was up. Because he was the team lead, so.
The cat, yeah. So he's like, I'm out. But we talked to them, and one of the first things we noticed is they definitely have this adorable fox mascot. It's this little stuffed fox that's just absolutely adorable that they were carrying around. The fox did not have a name yet, because that was a very important question that I did ask right away, was what was the fox's name? Because I really wanted you to have a title that was like, blah, 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 with blah, blah, blah.
I just put Steve on the video or something.
And it was so fun, because they were talking about, being from, we talked about like the home of Baja, like the roots of Baja, and how, it was culturally important, significant. And then we kind of end up in the conversation of talking about, we're in this green area and they're used to a desert, and how exciting it was for them to see like just nothing but green, these giant trees, and just how much they were enjoying the environment. And they usually drive up, which was a 30-hour drive or something. It was something.
I think it said 30-hour, yeah.
And so this year they flew. And then one of the exciting things for them when you're flying into Portland, the airport, is you pass like Mount Hood. You see these mountains and you're like, here is my plane and here is mountain. You go, it looks closer than what it is. But they were like, what's going on? They're waking each other up, making sure they see this mountain, because this is the first time they've also seen snow, which was just so sweet.
So real quick, that was Team 110, CMB Racing, Citis Universidad, that's CETYS Mini Baja on Instagram. They did a lot of tremendous, daily videos out there and pictures and stuff like that, including the foxes out there as well, if you want to check that out. Katie, Missy, I put that in the document as well, if you want to bring that up at all while we're talking about this. Oh, and they were all like, I loved how, like, they just all had the greatest enthusiasm to be there and everything too. Like everybody was just completely into it. I was like, oh, like 2 of these people are going to end up talking. Everybody took a turn. We spent like 25 minutes with the team. It was crazy. We usually spend like maybe 10 with the team, with like talking with like 1 or 2 people, right? So we got a lot of great stuff out there. There's the Instagram right there.
There's the fox.
And there's the fox on Hill Climb. They went and put it on it was even, I don't know, there's a video there. Maybe I don't have the 4 on there. Maybe it's going to be in that last one. No, they haven't posted it yet. The fox was on the Baja card during the endurance race.
Mm-hmm.
They must have zip tied it to one of the posts or something like that. So it was really, really cool. So it was fun. It was just fun to be like, that was like kind of like, I don't know. I think we unofficially like adopt a team to follow. There was also Perry the Platypus, Missy. I think you saw the Perry the Platypus car.
Is that one of the ones that you sent me? Yes, it was.
I think so.
Because I looked at it while I was reading, and it caught my attention to the point that I actually put my book down, picked up my phone, laughed at it, liked it, and then played with the dog for a few minutes because he was like, what's going on? You put your book down. So, yes. But it was pretty amazing.
And she's deep into Dungeon Carl, so, there's that. So to pull her away from that was fun. The UCF, the guy that was dressed like a wizard, I think at least down in California last year or the year before, was a mad professor. He had the gloves and the trench and the jacket and everything. I got a quick bit with him as well. So no, a lot of fun. Baja is just a blast with this stuff, and we're gonna have a lot of fun here in Fort coming up too, I think too. So, awesome. Katie, you have an awesome thing in it as well. Outside of Baja, you wanted to show Missy.
See, I do not know how I missed that there was even a Mandalorian and Grogu movie billboard in Times Square. I do not know. It's like the cute. It's like almost like the cats we've seen in Japan, where it looks a 3D, but this one is Grogu in a thing of popcorn. And they took Pedro Pascal to go see his son, Grogu. And of course, he's having the best time ever. But yeah, Missy, I thought you would find he was adorable too.
That is amazing. I absolutely love it.
Well, what was the thing where there was a popcorn coming across the skyline to it? Like, was he like forced, like, and they had like a physical popcorn or something coming across?
Yeah, I couldn't find that video again because I was trying to find it quickly, but it's like it looks like it's coming across like he's just like and it's something external, the billboard, and I was like, this is so cool. I love this marketing. I love the fun they're having with it. I mean, just including Pedro Pascal with anything is going to be fun marketing for me and everyone else.
Absolutely. There was one where somebody was holding, I think they had somebody dressed as a Mandalorian with Grogu, and Pedro's there, and he's just enamored with watching Grogu, you know, wherever they're doing public appearances and things, right? So, like, that's so much fun, and they're going to do bonkers with that thing here in a few weeks. And I was talking to somebody, Katie, this week, and I forget who it was. It was and we were talking about it with maybe somebody at Baja or something. You were doing something else, and they're like, "Do you think Boba Fett's going to be in this?" I'm like, I didn't even think about him being part of this thing.
I said that.
Was that you?
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I don't know how we ended up in the conversation about it, and I was like, I wonder if Boba Fett's going to make an appearance because, that would be fantastic, and I'd be very excited about that.
Oh, good. I thought I was talking to somebody else that was like, I don't want to tell Katie this and get her hopes up. She's not already thinking of it, but I'm like, why am I thinking of it? Anyways, that's awesome. Hey, we do have, again, it's a weird week, but I got to do the show on Tuesday so my mom knows what day it is. When we did the Monday show, she said, I thought it was Wednesday on Tuesday, and I got to make sure she's not out of sorts or anything like that. So it is hold on, help me with this. Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I think I got that right. But Dave Partner's the expert, and we got a video with him for this week's history for AAPI month. Missy, roll that foot.
Hey everyone, Dave here. I want to do a highlight here for someone for Asian American Pacific Islander month. And this person I want to look at is Eric Wan. He grew up in Beijing, China. Went to university in Beijing. While visiting a girlfriend where he had to travel long distance, he thought, wouldn't it be a great way if I could see her in person without physically having to travel to see her? Well, during a speech Bill Gates was giving in Japan in the mid-90s, Eric got inspired to come to Silicon Valley, and this is during the boom of Silicon Valley in the mid-90s. Started as one of the first 20 employees for her company WebEx. Eventually, WebEx was bought out by Cisco Systems, and Eric became the vice president of engineering. He went up to Cisco and he said, I have an idea for a video conferencing system that could be used on smartphones, because at the time, it was pretty much all computer-based. They said, well, we'll pass on this. He went off, started his own company called Zoom. Very luckily for him, unluckily for everyone else, in 2020, we all needed to communicate virtually. Well, Zoom was a early technology where it was very easy to do that on the smartphone. And so Zoom, of course, took off. And again, it seems like every great thing in technology was, hey, I want to see someone I like, or I want to make it easier to me interact with someone I like. And it led to basically removing a lot of the friction from early video conferencing, which if you weren't around back then, it was exceptionally hard. Now it's go to a website, click on a link, and you automatically start the video conferencing. So starting from something, came to the US, and now built something that is now actually a verb. You're going to Zoom someone, whether you use Zoom or not. A lot of people just use it as a verb. So just something of interest in terms of seeing people behind the scenes or people you may not know and how they impact everyone's lives. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dave, for that Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. history lesson for us this week. Hey, want to give a shout out to everybody that supports the show. Another reason why we're doing this from an Airbnb instead of getting rest, because we're on minimal sleep because our flight's at 6 a.m. West Coast time. And other reasons why we were up late last night that we'll find out in a moment. But thank you to everybody that support the shows, including Brian Crawford, who is maybe almost talking me into this drinking along the T-line event that's happening here at the
Yes, we're doing that.
And why are we doing it? Okay. I'm going to get drunk before I come back up here for another event in Michigan. So Cynthia Klosky, John DeGore, Dave Bodner, who we just heard from, of course, and also you can still use code DAVE26 at gcxe.com/eventspa for a discounted registration at the races. Those are the 5Ks and marathons around Pittsburgh that if you followed Prof Pod on Instagram, you see a lot of imagery from that. Or he's been doing a lot of interesting AI promotion with that, where he's had conversation with, I don't know, Cupid, for instance. Did he talk to a pierogi or something at one point, maybe? But thank you for that. And thank you to all of you out there supporting us at patreon.com/cast. And also thank you for Chachi, who did another Chachi Says Video Game Minutes. And I think we're ready for that right now.
Hey kids, welcome back to the Chachi Says Video Game Minute. Here's as much video game news I can cover in about a minute. GameStop has put in an offer to buy eBay, stating that the merger could be a serious competitor to Amazon. The offer is $55 billion, but the best part is, GameStop doesn't have $55 billion. Must be really nice to deal in fictional money. The CEO behind some of the biggest games of the last 15 years, NBA 2K, Grand Theft Auto, BioShock, and Red Dead Redemption, and the upcoming $1.5 billion GTA 6, doesn't play video games. In an interview, Take-Two chairman Strauss Zelnick stated that he doesn't play video games at all. He doesn't have time for it. He has people that does that for him, trusting the people he hires to do the job correctly. And with a track record like his, I can't really argue. The Video Game Hall of Fame has announced this year's inductees. They are Angry Birds, FIFA International Soccer, Silent Hill, and Dragon Quest. This group beat out other titles like Galaga, Mega Man, Parappa the Rapper, and Skyrim. Now that is some serious competition. Thanks for watching this week's Chachi Says Video Game Minute. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Chachi, for that. And again, following up with that GameStop eBay story, I think I just saw on the plane ride today, and so I don't think this was in there by the time he went to press on that video. But eBay has denied the offer and does not consider it serious from GameStop. If anybody saw any of the news from this past week, the CEO of GameStop was interviewed and has been rendered mostly clueless on the facts around this merger idea, and he's right. They don't have that. I think they were bidding it for about 3 times they were trying to bid on eBay 3 times what GameStop is worth. So some math isn't mathing there, and there you go. So just saying, you know what? They went to eBay. And eBay says, no, we're going to give you $2 for this copy of Madden 96 instead of what you think it's worth. Okay, so now they get to feel how the rest of us have felt so in the long run, because they tried to redeem a used product that was maybe a little older than it needed to be, and it didn't work out so well for them. So anyway, Katie, we went on like 3 field trips yesterday, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
The first one was our friend Rob De La Creta, one of my original co-hosts on the AwesomeCast. We've caught up with him when we've gone out there before, had a beer with him, and he's been on here talking about the stuff he does. We got to see where he works. And it's Axiom Custom Products, I think officially is the name, right? And we talked about before, he does works in a lot of custom kind of builds for companies and things like that. And we got to see some of it, and got to see the big space, big warehouse space with every CNC, giant oven, giant spray area. You saw some of those in there. If you're looking at the video right now, Katie, I know you were like a kid in the candy store asking all the questions on this. I was just kind of amazed about everything I was seeing.
I was surprised how many companies, and I hadn't put two and two together, how many companies, major companies that are located out of the Portland area who reach out to them to build, displays, build, store setups. And it just was like, I know this, I buy their stuff, I like their stuff. And it was really, really cool to see. And, but I just kept taking photos because I have never seen anything at this scale before. And like, we learned how they coat metal, like the metal process, which I didn't realize the science behind that.
It was the powder, the powder
yes.
coating, where he's talking about how the they make the piece and it needs to be quote unquote painted. They cover it with powder, and while they're covering with powder, they're pulling a charge, because I think it was the powder is looking for a positive charge. So therefore, since it's trying to electrically complete the circuit, it's just drawing to the item. So it relatively just evenly coats the thing because it's looking for the best contact on it. And then they bake it and shake a little bit extra off, and you're good to go. Like you showing the racks, and you could see all the caking on it that they have to, like you said, chisel it off with a hammer, so that after they use it for so long and stuff. And you see in that video, before, like the giant ovens that they use for that, which are also beside the giant places where they do a lot of the general painting and stuff. He was talking about some of the problems they solved, when they're like, well, we needed to do product this way with a certain thing, that once you open it, you got to use all of it right away because it's going to start going bad, basically, right? There was a whole woodwork area, a whole metalwork area. There's, what was it? A 7-axis CNC machine that was basically a robot arm with a turntable. So you say the thing could kill itself or something?
Yeah.
It looks like one of those like you see in a car factory. So, and we learned a lot about that process, because they got the engineers in the front and how they've kind of, re-engineered that process of how the engineers build something, talk to, holistically talk to the people building stuff in the shop, is like, like you said, 70 some employees that they have. Like, it's a big thing, and a dog, as you can see on the website. I'm sorry, I have a plate in the background. I'm realizing it's not on screen, but it's really, really cool. You can see, I mean, obviously from the video, it looks like you're doing shoe companies and things like that. So, I mean, and he's talked about some really cool projects that they've done in the past. I always go back to the one that was I think they had this I think is one of his older companies. But they had Samsung phones, and every time you hit it, like fireworks would go off, and there's like this like light bulb or something they had going on. These just absolutely wild things. And he was talking about some other things that were just like looked like they would have been crazy to see in person. So, man, from making crazy stuff in Pittsburgh in a basically a smaller shop in Garfield to seeing this like warehouse down by the river here in Portland, or here, God, where am I right now?
Oh, wait, Portland. If you asked our rental car a couple days ago where we were, because we weren't sure, because you kind of just straddle, you're like Washington and Portland, we're like right along the river the whole time we're on this trip. And at one point you asked the car, and it wasn't CarPlay, it was the car, the Buick, which uses the Google system. You're like, where am I? And it said North America, which was like, we were broken, because it was just like not even close.
I'm not sold on building Google services in a General Motors car right now. Since I have that experience. So, but yeah, the Play Store. We should have posted the Play Store and see what we could play with there. But we're too busy getting places. So, but yeah, no, it's if you want to kind of see a little bit of poke at that, AxiomCustom.com is where you can get that information and see some of the stuff there.
Ooh, sorry. The other thing that was interesting was like the when he was talking about the process of the designs and the client bringing the designs and like, okay, so we do this and we dump this into SolidWorks and then we dump this into this, and it's like these different software and these programs that we intimately acquainted with through SAE, and it was just like, oh wow, this world is combining with this world, and this is just it's really, I thought it was really cool. That was another like really cool element for me.
We just did a walkthrough, but they're in, I think I'm waiting on approval. I'm on the road, so we're not wrapping them right now, but we have these walkthroughs, the workshops for Formula and Baja in University of Arizona from last month. And a lot of the process is like, yeah, we do this, and then we go here, then maybe we'll try out part of this 3D printer, and then we put in SolidWorks, and this is like, there's a lot of same processes from like a Formula car to the things he's working on. It is so fun. And like I said, SolidWorks is like, it's on every t-shirt, that the students are wearing since I started. And this is my 10th year at Baja. Okay, so I've seen SolidWorks a lot. I've talked to SolidWorks for interviews a lot. So they're very integral in this, and the students are pretty ingrained in using it. I think it's more or less an industry standard for automotives at this point, if I'm not mistaken, from what I can gather on things. That's really cool. There's Missy, if you look back at that video, that page from before, if you scroll down, there are some lists of projects that we can say, like there's, and you see, it's like, I didn't think about like, when, some of these places, like, how many like fun, interesting stories that we've gone to, Katie, over the years, right? And, obviously they have like a built branding facade for everything. And you're like, oh yeah, like some company puts that together, right? And that's what they're doing. Like they're talking about North Face, on their website. They're talking about, there's another shoe store, the Nike SF remodel, San Francisco remodel, things like that. Something like, you ever see like the big Samsung store, not that that's one of their clients necessarily. There's this randomly Camp Flog Gnaw Festival in the upper right there, Missy. I don't know. You see this with the shoes sticking up. So
it's Converse.
Really fascinating looking. And you can get in here and they actually show, I'm seeing the arm in that as well. So they have a lot of great media around the projects that they're doing out there. So.
Oh, that was the Converse logo. Remember, I was like, that's Converse.
That's Converse. That Camp Flog Gnaw Festival is Converse.
Yeah, that is Converse. So a lot of shoes. Are all the shoes in the Pacific Northwest?
Seems to be.
Seems to be. Oh man, this is really cool stuff. I love seeing the giant shoe in a crane in some of this here. So it's really cool. Good for Rob, man. He's kind of the. It seems like he's the number 2 in the company from what he said. So, good for him for being a part of that, building something really, really cool out there. Katie, we had the "What does Katie want to do" Monday. Where did we end up?
Katie says, "I want ocean and I want mountains." People go, "Oh, which one do you want?" I said both, because I think I'm obsessed with the Pacific Northwest. I just love, I love nature. I love being outside, and to be in an area, and I yell at Rob because he'll post stuff from up there, and I'll be like, "Stop it with your Pacific Northwest propaganda," because I'm like, I'm gonna move up there, and but like being able to go from the ocean through these beautiful forests to like huge mountain ranges is just incredible to me. And but we started in the ocean. Literally, no, we didn't start in the ocean. We kind of ended up in the ocean. But ocean was our first trip. And, there's a lot of really cool beaches in that area. And it's like, I keep saying the word quintessential. We learned that word this past few weeks. It's not past week, I feel like, because I keep just using it nonstop. Is Cannon Beach in Tay-Stack. Is this huge structure, like huge rock, and I'm like, do I have a picture of it in front of me? No, I do not. Darn. But it's a huge formation.
Actually, real quick, Missy, are you able to pull up my Instagram and hit the story on my page? I know we have some pictures from the last.
Yeah, I was just pulling up Katie's Instagram, and it's not on there.
No, I didn't get there yet.
We just haven't had
I put mud.
You do have mud on your Instagram.
I put mud and my cool pics My Cool Picks S550 from 2000.
Which got a lot of play at Baja.
That was fun.
Which Baja was this? I don't think I'm not seeing it on your profile, Sorg.
Let's see. It's gone.
Well, the Cool Picks, I haven't posted it, but she has it on her side.
Oh, but yeah, Haystack is I love the ocean. I love beaches, but the West Coast and the Pacific Ocean and things along the Pacific Ocean are so much more interesting than like East Coast, the Atlantic Ocean, and there's a lot of and there's just huge rocks, and it was I was down in Santa Cruz, where things have been cut out and these coves, and they're just gorgeous. And but Cannon Beach was the one we we started out walking one direction towards a group of rocks because we knew we were going to end up at Haystack, and we didn't until we did the research. I didn't realize that puffins live on Haystack Rock, which was very exciting because sometimes it's just how people get it. The Mexican team was very excited about squirrels. I am with puffins, and it was just
they've never seen a squirrel before. They're so excited to see them.
I was excited, so we went to see if we could find the puffins, and but they live in the nest on this huge rock formation, and but that was our first go, and it was very cold on the beach because the wind was very windy, but we were fine, and we didn't blow away or anything. I did take my big lens, and we tried to find the puffins.
We did almost get washed away because I wasn't watching the water come in.
Yeah, you had one job. You're not
yeah.
Get our shoes wet. Whoosh.
We had soggy shoes for the rest of the day. So.
But we did learn that the puffins had not laid eggs yet, so they will go out and do their things. They don't feel the need to hang out as much. But we did, so there's a green area. If you ever go out there, that's where the puffins hang out. I took a ton of photos, ended up with a bunch of photos of other birds, but that was okay. It was still an incredible thing to see. And the other one was I wanted to see Mount Hood. Like I knew we wouldn't get up in Mount Hood, like you're climbing or I knew that was not a possibility with everything we already had to do. But I wanted to get as close as we could get to just see the scale, because I think that's always so impressive, is just to see the scale of something, even if it's in the distance. It's incredible to see. And we went and you put in Mount Hood as the address, and we just kept driving and driving and driving. Yeah. And
I think we were still like 20 miles away from the thing when you stopped to officially Mount Hood, Oregon, which was just fields and fields of orchards at the base of this mountain.
Vineyards and orchards.
Oh my God, yes. And when you realize your berries or something was from up there.
Oh shoot, the Washington Bing cherries.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
So you guys are all talking about this stuff, but there was one thing that you shared with me that I really, really, really need you to talk about. This.
All right. Katie, what are we looking at for the audio listeners?
For you listening at home, our listening audience, it is a teal bird with big eyeballs that look like googly eyes, but it's a painting. And he's got a little yellow triangle nose, and he's got his pants hiked up to his nose, and he's got a brown belt, and he's got little bell-bottom pants that go into roller skates. And it's the most adorable thing.
So
hang on.
We asked.
Hang on. I randomly get this photo, and I'm like, what is this? And then they continue to tell me this story. So, Sorg, now I will let you tell this story.
So, you get messages from Airbnb. They're checking in, make sure everything's going okay. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I hope you're settled in, So the next day, we're out on the site. I just send the picture of the bird, and I was like, we are obsessed with this bird. And this place, understand, there's a lot of this plants in there. It had this weird kind of 70s-ish vibe. There are things hidden. There's a Michelangelo, old school Ninja Turtle figure. And we're just finding there's a skateboard guy on top of the hat rack in my room. And there's a lion on this windowsill here and stuff. They just place things throughout. It was just a scavenger hunt. You're just sitting there and just there's something on that window. So I'm just hey, we're obsessed with this bird. So our host Chris at the Portland Airbnb says, "This is one of the few things in the space that doesn't belong to me." And there's a cool, by the way, there's a cool Johnny Cash picture like around the corner too, like a show picture or something. It's a local artist, a friend of mine, who bought 3 or 4 of his paintings years ago. He no longer has a space for it in her house, so loaned it to me for the B&B. I like it too. And also very strange, she called while I was typing this out. And we got the Instagram. If you're interested in that bird, I'm leaving Airbnb here to go in here. And that account is Brent Weir, BrentWear on Instagram. They don't seem to be terribly active right now, but they do have, like, the last post was from December 2025. This was not available on their web store that was linked on the Instagram. But if you want to go check out more stuff like that.
What was that Instagram again?
Brent Weir, or maybe Brent Ware, I don't know.
How do you spell it?
BrentWear. And is definitely cat-centric, by the way, on this Instagram. So another reason to...
Nico!
Yes. So there you go.
Oh, I've got the Instagram pulled up over here for our viewers.
Yes. And so I love the bird lamp too. But I mean, this is the kind of thing you just love when you're in Portland, and like we didn't eat a chain restaurant like hardly any time we were out there, and everything was pretty tremendous between around the Portland area and out in the Washougal area. I think we stopped at Vancouver. What'd you call it? Vancouver of the South.
Vancouver of the South.
Vancouver, Washington. Because we had a late start the one day because we had a late thing we had to capture. So we got brunch on the way out, and at this great Victoria's Cafe, I think it was. So, very, very cool. So again, I can't wait for another opportunity to go out there. I love when I go out there to Seattle to work when Defy Wrestling has had me out there for work. This is my 3rd time in the Portland area, and it is like kind of just it's a different kind of vibe, and I kind of love it. It is. I remember seeing things a bit ago where it's like Pittsburgh's sister city or something like that, right? And it does kind of feel like that sizing and stuff, except maybe they have better transit from the looks of things. So train that goes where people live. Things like that. So, Katie, any final take? Or no, first, Missy, any other questions or things that I sent you? You have a question about from our weekend?
I just shared the bird.
Missy,
what else
do
do
you want to see the coolest thing I got?
Of course.
Okay, Missy knows, everybody. Okay, so the thing I collect are magnets, and where I go places, and the more ridiculous the magnet, the better. And my original magnet was, I found a puffin magnet because I was like, I want to find the puffins, and
that was good.
That was puffin magnet. And then I go into this other store. Missy, look at this magnet. So there's, I'll make sure I go the right direction.
Does that have a dial?
That's haystack. And then you turn it, there's a Sasquatch. Then you turn it, and then there's a seagull. And then you've got, that's just the water, the waves. Then you got a puffin. So I got everything from the beach in one magnet.
That is amazing.
Well, and then Sasquatch is just the national cryptid of the Northwest, I've decided. I don't know if it's the national cryptid of the Northwest.
Basically. And also,
I think he's everywhere.
And also big on banana slugs. Apparently. I found out at one store. So, but I think they're just in the woods there. So really cool. We just drove to the point where we're just like, I gotta get gas. I don't think there's anything out here. Which happened to us a couple times actually. But either way.
I like the fact that we couldn't figure out what this looked like, and I was like, oh wait, I have my postcards. Let me just pull out my postcards. That's haystack.
Yeah, there you go. That's haystack.
That was another one. I could pull out my postcards.
You guys are such nerds.
Visual aids. I don't know what you're talking. Oh my gosh, Missy, you would have loved it. We nerded out with a very nice young lady who was in the seat in front of me on the plane, and I liked her glasses, and she told me where she got them. And then we were waiting for our luggage, and she told me where she got her another place to find glasses. And she's like, I like your shirt. It feels like something my D&D group would be in too. And we're like, let me tell you the gospel of Dungeon Crawler Carl. And
So
we're telling.
here's the fun thing about Dungeon Crawler Carl. Like I'm behind the everybody else on this one, but I am reading the books, and I keep messaging Katie because she's read the books, both like actual tangible pages as well as the audio, and she's kind of done them together, which I think is a really cool idea. I'm not much for audiobooks, but I'm loving absolutely like burning through the actual physical pages books. And I'm sending her text messages as I'm getting through the book that I'm on, and just been like, my sheer excitement about it. So Dungeon Crawler Carl right now, I think is my favorite, my awesome thing of the week, even though it's paper.
Carl, why is everyone kissing you all of a sudden? That's like the third person in an hour. You're going to get mono.
Legitimate text that I sent her.
Out of context. Donut yelling.
Have I gotten that far?
At which point Sorg is like, spoilers.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten that far. I'm halfway through the Beth and Bride.
Yeah. It doesn't.
There's no I or bride in the current part I'm in, so anyways. Missy, thank you for engineering this week.
So if the show is messed up, it is my fault. You're welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you for adventuring with me once again on the Baja Adventures. And now we're in Michigan, in a small town.
Are we? We're in North America.
Where does your GPS say?
Oh, no, yeah, no, there was something that said you're in Michigan. I'm like, oh, great, we're doing this again. Yeah. So we're in an interesting small town. There's at least a couple eateries here. I'm in a part of I keep finding new places around Brooklyn that I've never heard of before. So within like a 40-mile there, because it's just so hard to find places out here.
You just said Brooklyn, and I was like, wait, I thought you were in Michigan.
Brooklyn, Michigan.
You are in Michigan.
Are you unwrapping candy over there, Katie? What's going on?
I was going to show you something, but I'll show you later. Brooklyn of the West. This is Brooklyn of the West.
This is Brooklyn of the Midwest.
Excuse me. Yes. We have Vancouver of the South and Brooklyn of
the Midwest.
Yes. I mean, there'll be mountains, not going to be any oceans. Probably, I mean, we're lucky we have the internet connection. We actually have better internet connection now than we did in Portland, where we were. So, anyway.
There were probably more people in Portland, so you had to share your internet with them.
Well, I don't know about that. But we'll be exploring here over the next couple of days as we rest up and get ready to work here tomorrow morning, out on the track and talking with even more people out there. So looking forward to that. Katie, what's your biggest takeaway from the week?
Biggest takeaway of the week? Oh, I want to move to the Pacific Northwest. The end.
There's
Bye,
that.
guys.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Kind of.
Pittsburgh of the West, here I come.
Pittsburgh of the West, here we come. Absolutely. No, I could definitely hang out there a lot more. So, but anyways, thank you so much. Thank you, Missy, on the ones and twos in the studio back home in Pittsburgh. Can't wait to be back next week back in studio to get back to normal, at least for 2 weeks before we hit the road again. And then we'll probably do the shows once again from Michigan. And then we'll do the shows once again in a month from now from the same town, but a different Airbnb in this town that I booked. So there's that. Guys, thank you so much. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at Sorgatron